this being a bill by popular initiative, I'm confident that the vote of consciousness lies not with me, but with the registered voters who shall have their say in the referendum. I exercise my duty on behalf of the County of Narok by passing this bill to the voters, and thus I vote yes.
So what are
Senator Ledama, we have not had your vote.
Madam Speaker, once again, I say this is not a conscious vote, but rather a vote which consequences lies not with this House, but the people of Kenya.
We have had everything
So I'm
except the vote.
my right, and I'm voting yes to pass this bill to them, for them to determine their future in the referendum. So I vote yes.
Yes, voted yes.
Senator Omanga Millicent.
Kwa niaba ya walalahoi, kwa niaba ya wanyonge na mahasla wa Kenya hii, napiga la na single mothers.
Senator Ongeri Samson.
Members, order members. Order, Senator Gerard Gay, please. Can we consult in low tones so that we can complete?
Senator Ongeri Samson.
Madam Speaker, I vote yes.
Senator Orengo James.
Madam Speaker, I vote yes.
Senator Outa Frederick Otieno.
Madam Speaker, I vote yes.
Senator Pareno Judith.
For the sake of Kajiado County, the women, my party ODM that believes in devolution, peace and prosperity of this country, I vote yes.
Senator Provincial Samuel.
Madam Speaker, on behalf of the people of West Pokot, I vote yes.
Senator Pringay Victor.
Madam Speaker, I vote yes.
Senator Sakaja Johnson.
Madam Speaker, on behalf of the 4.3 million residents of Nairobi County who deserve adequate representation, hence the 12 more constituencies. On behalf of the urban poor who deserve more resources, hence 40 billion for Nairobi, I vote yes.
Senator Mary Giane.
Senator Mary, we can't see her. She's there. Senator Mary, please come online. Yes, please. All the members.
Madam Speaker, I choose to abstain.
Thank you. Next.
Senator Wako Amos.
Madam Speaker, I vote yes.
Senator Wambua Enoch.
Madam Speaker, because a decision has been made that the final decision on the fate of this bill lies with the people of Kenya. So to facilitate a smooth passage of this bill to the final decision makers, Madam Speaker, I vote yes.
Senator Wako Naomi Jiro.
I vote yes.
Senator Wario Wolich Juma.
Can you
Senator
hear me?
Wetangula Moses.
Madam Speaker, on behalf of myself, Ford Kenya Party and One Kenya Alliance, I vote yes.
Senator Zani Agnes.
I vote yes.
Senator Ali Abdullahi Ibrahim. Yes.
Yes.
Senator Ali, you seem to be muted.
No,
Please
I'm not
unmute.
muted, Madam. I don't know what's happening, but mine is yes. Why?
Senator
Yes.
Imana Malakai Charles Ekal.
Senator Imana, we have not seen you. Senator Imana and Senator Ochilo Ayako, please come back online.
Senator Loitip Anwal. Senator Mbogo George Ochiro Ayako.
Madam Speaker, can you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Madam Speaker, I, Dr. Mbogo George Ochilo Ayako of Migori County, self and of Kenyans. Madam Speaker, can you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Have you heard me, Madam Speaker?
Senator, just vote. We are here, you are clearer.
Madam Speaker, point of order.
Ayako of Migori County.
Senator Ayako, can you vote, please?
Madam Speaker, are you able to hear me?
Yes. Can you vote? Senator Ayako, vote.
Hear me?
Yes.
Vote yes, Madam Speaker, on
Thank
behalf
you.
of
Thank you. Imana, if you are online, please come forward.
Don't do narrative, just vote.
Imana and Anwar.
Madam Speaker.
Is that Anwar?
This is Senator Wario.
Waria, we took your vote. We had you. Thank you. It's Senator
Okay, thank
Imana
you.
we are looking for if you are in the same room.
Madam Speaker, hope you heard me.
Senator Anwar, last chance. No, then Senator Imana, last chance. I think we just proceed. Honorable Senators, we now have the results of the vote. And I request that the two members please take seats as we announce the results of the vote, how you have voted for BBI. Honorable Senators, the ayes 51, the nays 12, abstention 1. The ayes have it.
A bill for an act to amend the Constitution by popular initiative.
Thank you. I see a point of order from Senator Ongeri.
Speaker, I just wanted to comment that we've done this voting in solidarity with what we think the BBI is putting on the table. And I just plead at this stage, Madam Speaker, that we have made some very relevant comments, particularly in my area where we brought out one of the most deserving constituencies that needs to be split into two, that's Bobat's constituency. And I plead that when this both the second stage, third or fourth stage, that may be considered as an appropriate, because it's a very large population and they will largely benefit and they will hugely benefit from this split. And it will be a good thing to do, because both in terms of statistics, Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, in terms of proposal, that was captured, and we'll be very happy to see that captured in the forward. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Last point of order is from Senator Mogeni. Did I see something, Senator Mogeni? Yes.
Yes, Madam Speaker, I just wanted to give some words of comfort to my good friend, Senator Professor Sam Ongeri, that once we have enacted this bill, it will go as it is, but maybe in future, in another 10 years, when we review the constituencies, maybe we can think of Kisii. But this one now is cast in stone, Prof. It will go as it is. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Orengo.
Madam Speaker, I want to thank the House for passing this bill and say that there are a lot of people who have very simple minds and they do not understand sometimes these processes. And it should be noted that the recommendations of the committee, the Joint Committee of the National Assembly and the Senate, in which I sat, and which Senator Omugeni, Senior Counsel, presided over together with Honorable Muturi Kigano. I think this report that accompanied the bill would be a historic document. And Madam Speaker, I'm saying this because there are a lot of people there who don't understand what you are saying. There are people who are saying that the role of Parliament is simply ceremonial. I want to repeat here that if the role of Parliament was ceremonial, we would not have taken time and go through 3 divisions and 3 voice votes. And I know in the annals of history, the debates that have taken place in this Senate will be a very important historical document. Indeed, I am hoping that in the records of this Parliament, we should not just have it in the Hansard. I think there should be a report on of the Hansard on this debate. This debate, Senator Zawadi, you will be surprised that 20 years from now, when some of us will not be alive, your speech in this debate may be used in order to try and determine, because we are the makers of this document, unlike some people think, what prompted us to pass this bill. So our work has not been in vain, and the debates here have not been in vain. And I know in the history of this parliament, and Madam Speaker, I remember reading a report, just a report on the contribution of the Kenya People's Union during a period of time. There was a special report given at that time by the National Assembly and printed by the government printer, the contribution of the Kenya People's Union in the debates in Parliament at that time. So the work we have done here is not in vain at all, and I want to commend every member that spoke on this bill. And finally, I think it should be remembered, for those who have misunderstood us out there, that the recommendation of the committee, Madam Speaker, you know, there's a very noisy part of this House.
Senators, please consult in low tones so other members can be heard.
Yeah, all the time, you know, really. And Madam Speaker, you know, these days we are very lucky. There are no people in the gallery, but there was a time when, you know, there will be a lot of Kenyans looking at how their members make the law. And sometimes what we see here is very dispiriting, because we are carrying out a very important duty. And remember, we stopped debating when one of us was arrested, because it was an important debate for which we wanted to participate. I just wanted to emphasize that the committee had recommended that the bill should be passed as it is. And the committee had made some observations, and those observations were part of the debate. So I am hoping that after passing this bill, we have to live with it. It will be part of our history, of our contribution to this country, and the courts will try to determine what we meant and what we wanted to do through this enactment. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Kavindu Mudama.
Madam Speaker, I thank you for this opportunity. I just want to say that we have passed this bill, and I'm grateful that Machakos has had 3 constituencies. But there is one area, which is Masinga, which is very sparse. I'm just praying that next time they'll be considered and given some constituencies. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Wetangula Moses.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I also want to join in congratulating this House in totality for the mature debate and the vote that we have registered this afternoon. Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, in the history of this House, no bill has been debated as vigorously and extensively and deeply as the bill we have passed this afternoon. Every single member desired to speak, and those who didn't speak probably are less than 10. And all that spoke were constructive. Even those that did not support the bill, like my distinguished colleague from Kericho, were very eloquent in their treatise. Senator Milo Manga is also gesturing at me to acknowledge her contribution. Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, and I want to say that she made very, very positive contributions. After passing this bill, Madam Speaker, there is no longer those who opposed and those who supported. It is a bill that has been passed by the House of Senate.
Thank you.
We carry everybody on board. We may not have gotten everything we wanted, but the Constitution is a living document. It's dynamic in its own nature, and there will always be another time to bring on board what was left behind or to correct what we think was excessive this time round. Let's move together as one. And I want to encourage my colleagues, Cherargei, Aaron Cheriot, Murkomen, and everybody that as we go out now to the referendum, that let's move as one. let's unite the country, and let's be each other's keeper. That is the only way Kenya will move forward. And even those who gloat in marginalizing others, when they realize that even those that are marginalizing are united with everybody, we will be able to reform each other and look at this country together.
I was using my discretion for 2 minutes, so please let's not go because I'm the only timekeeper. I'm the only timekeeper on this one. Senator Gerard Gay, I'll come to you, but if you can promise me 1 minute, yeah, I'll come to you. Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for this discretion.
The last.
From the outset I want to tell Kenyans, as this issue moves to referendum, that if at all the Constitution is going to be amended, they should be ready for high taxation under the Bodega Parliament and many other, since the economy is in ICU. Madam Speaker, we would have expected that the process would have been more all-inclusive. But some of us are not interested in us versus them, but we leave to the conscience of Kenyans. But us will continue to oppose that to mashinani. Madam Speaker, finally, what I want to say is that Kenyans were looking upon this house. But fortunately, 12 of us have started with the truth, and we hope in the fullness of time will be vindicated, and Kenyans should always be ready for high taxation in hard economic times. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Matsaya Stewart Mochi.
Asante Bispika, kwanza nataka tumshukuru Mwenyezi Mungu kwa uwezo wake wa kwamba sisi kama maseneta tumeketi hapa na tumeweza kujadiliana na hatimaye kupitisha mswada huu wa BBI. Bispika, tunaangalia mbele, sasa tunaenda kwa referendum, na nina hakika na matumaini ya kwamba kazi tuliyofanya hapa imeonekana na kila mtu katika taifa la Kenya, na kwamba maseneta wanaweza kuleta majadiliano kwa hali ya ungwana, kuleta juu bila kukosana, na hatimaye kuweza kupiga kura na kupata mwelekeo. Tumewaonyesha Wakenya sasa mwelekeo wa kuenda. Sasa tuendeni mashinani ili kuona kwamba wananchi wa Kenya wamepitisha BBI. Asante sana Mr. Speaker.
Senator of Nairobi, Senator Sakaja.
Madam Speaker, very briefly, I'd like to first of all remember Senator Yusuf Haji, who spearheaded this process. He was one of our colleagues, and I'm sure that today he is looking down at us with pride, and I dedicate this vote to him. Madam Speaker, this process was long. Senator Amos Wako has been there, but it's important for us to understand as a House that our part is now done. Madam Speaker, as Senator Orengo has intimated, there has been a lot of innuendo out there. You know, the committee had a report, I had a dissent on one issue, but ultimately, we all agreed on the need to pass BBI and on the need to respect the will of the people. From here, it is going back to the people, Madam Speaker, and they will make that choice. I just pray that all of us as leaders in this country, even as we go to the people, a process and a bill that is supposed to unite our people should not be a source of division going forward. Let us watch our tone. Let us not try and divide this country again. Let us not have a me versus them. Let us go in the spirit of one Kenya. Madam Speaker, I'd also like to appeal to colleagues as we go out there, let us remember when that time comes, because now the IBC will have to schedule a referendum at some point. Let's remember COVID is still there. Let us not endanger Kenyans. Let us not lead to another spike of infections of COVID-19, Madam Speaker, as we go to speak to Kenyans. And finally, Madam Speaker, because we are still senators, we are still members of parliament, as I finish, many people have been saying that the country's focus should not be on this. We should focus on alleviating the problems that Kenyans are going through. This is your opportunity. We're done with the bill. Let us see proposals on economic cushioning. Let us see proposals on making sure Kenyans get the vaccine and focusing on their priorities right now, as the other institutions, the IBC and the rest, focus on the remaining part of this process. For now, our work is done on that. Let us now do what we must do. I want to thank all members who have voted, and I'm glad, Madam Speaker, that finally we've entrenched the principle of equality of the vote, that my people in Nairobi will no longer be represented 500,000 people by one member of parliament. For me, that is a score, and the additional resources that will go to the counties. It is truly a historic and a good day for this country. Thank you.
Senator Gona Christine Zawadi.
Mheshimiwa Spika, nataka nikubaliane ama niungane na wenzangu na hasa nikapongeze nyumba nzima ya Senate kukubaliana na kupiga kura nzuri ama kura ya ndio. Na pia nataka niseme kwamba kila safari ya hatua 100 huanza kwa hatua moja. Kwa hivyo ni hatua tumechukua, na niko na hakika hasa kwa niaba ya Kilifi kuna mengi ambayo tulikuwa hatuyapati, lakini najua kwa kupitisha haya hii BBI ambayo tumepitisha leo, najua kuna mazuri mengi ambayo watatufuata nyumaye. Na pia vile vile nataka nitambue kwamba kuna kaunti zingine ambazo hazikupata uwakilishi ama sub county zaidi, lakini nataka niseme kila kilicho na mwanzo huwa na mwisho, na pia si kwamba tunawaonea ama hatuwapendi, ni kwamba siku haikuwa yao, lakini wakati utafika watapata. Na hata kama hawakupata sub county zingine, lakini na hakika kuna mengine ambao wameyapata mazuri kulingana na hiyo BBI. Ukiangalia vizuri utakuta hapo ndani kuna mambo mazuri mengi, na mabaya hayakoseki kwa sababu ni mwanadamu aliyetengeneza, lakini naamini tulivyoanza kwa mwendo huu, hatua tumeanza, safari tumeanza, na hakika una mwisho mwema. Asante.
Senator Lenturi, Franklin Mithika.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity. I'll try to be as brief as I can. And Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the minority vote, let me say in democracy, Madam Speaker, is always that the majority will have their way, the minority will have their say. What I would want the country to learn from this vote is that, Madam Speaker, we are getting to an area whereby now the public is going to decide on whether to amend this constitution or not. The responsibility on passing it is on them. So I would ask them to not be divided, because looking at what has happened in this Senate, we may have unvalid ways of trying to express ourselves, but at the end of the day, when the vote is cast, we all come together and agree on the results. So, Madam Speaker, the only area that I feel I need to tell Kenyans, and even those who will be participating in an election, in this particular election, the most critical and important thing to remember is that always this country is not independent by the citizens, by the Wananchi themselves, but by the leaders. We have a responsibility to preach peace. We have a responsibility to tell people that the referendums will come and go, but the Kenyan people must always remain united. And Madam Speaker, whoever will be participating in whatever election, we must also be willing and ready to tell people that Kenyans must be willing to accept the results of any election. Otherwise, that is one of the major problems that breaks the country. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. Now, the names are increasing, so please stick to my 1.5 minutes discretion. Senator Inima Ketrut Musuruve.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this time to give my comment. I want to say that this is a very good process for us as Kenyans. Now that we've agreed as a Senate that we get to the referendum, we should forget the past and work together and ensure that we are talking to Kenyans, because the things that have been ailing us as a country have been addressed in the Constitution. And we have to know that our Constitution is a living thing. Even after 10 years, maybe amendments will also be done to our Constitution. And our Constitution is supposed to serve people. And I'm sure the BBI is going to serve Kenyans. And we look back and say we did a good thing in passing the BBI. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you, Senator Milgo. Alice Chepkorir.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Let me also take this opportunity to actually congratulate the senators and actually tell all Kenyans that the senators today have sent a clear message that they are in support of the two principles Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, the president of this country, and the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga in their vision of having a country that is living peacefully after every vote. I think we have had a challenge after every vote, and in this particular bill, this one shall go a long way to actually cure a number of issues. In addition to that one, more specifically, the amount of money that will go to the counties once this bill has passed will in this case improve the livelihoods of our people. And in this case, I think our people, the Kenyans right now, out there should be able to support this bill so that we have prosperity in this country. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Kimani Wamatangi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I also rise to first congratulate all members of the Senate who have made contributions to this bill, Madam Speaker, and including yourselves, Madam Speaker, in the Speaker's team for the good work that you've done in coordinating and regulating debate here, Madam Speaker. And finally to say, Madam Speaker, that it's good to exhale and go through what we've gone through, learn the lessons that we've learned. And to me, the bigger lesson is that the dynamism of the debate that we've had, the diversity of opinion, should not be a basis for us to have an enmity between us, Madam Speaker. And indeed, that now we have a clear way forward, and that clear way forward, Madam Speaker, is that this bill now is back to the owners. And the owners of this bill is the people of this country, Madam Speaker, who first through the promoters made the suggestions. And the beauty of it, in my view, Madam Speaker, is that indeed, by and large, there was something for almost everyone. Although some may not have gotten precisely what they wanted, but we would say that what is good in it outweighs any challenges that will be there, Madam Speaker. And I know, for example, Madam Speaker, like in the area where I come from, the area of Mount Kenya region, our people have been consistently for more than 30 years raising the issue of underrepresentation, Madam Speaker. And somehow this can now be addressed if and when Kenyans put their vote to this bill, Madam Speaker. We have issues, and that's how we started our one man, one vote, one shilling campaign, Madam Speaker. We believe that alongside other Kenyans who also have something to take in this bill, when the people finally decide on it, we will be better off as a country than the way we were, Madam Speaker, before we pass the bill. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Amos Wako.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. As a person who was the chairman of the Constitutional Committee of BBI, it is really my great pleasure that at long last Parliament has passed this bill overwhelmingly. Madam Speaker, there are 74 clauses in this bill, and therefore it will be difficult for one person to agree with all the 74 clauses. But what's important is that one agrees with the overall thrust of the clauses, of the amendments, and so on. And I think we all agree that if these amendments will carry the country forward, Madam Speaker, as we go to the referendum, I would ask the people also to look at those clauses in the bill where not much attention has been given. Much attention has been given on political issues in the bill, the structure of the executive, but there are many, many other clauses, even which deal with the economy, which are there in the bill. Madam Speaker, one particularly clause 10A, which deals with regional integration and cohesion, clause 11A, which deals with the economy and shared prosperity, clause 18A, which deals with the responsibilities of a citizen. If this bill is enacted and is endorsed by the people, I'm quite confident that it will carry and give this country the opportunity to restructure the politics, be more focused, and deal not so much to be too politicized that we forget the real issues which are issues of economy. Madam Speaker, if that environment is created, then it will be possible to deal with the many problems that this country is facing right now in the economic field. Therefore, it deals with governance issues which provide the enabling environment to be able to deal with the very heavy economic issues that this country is challenging. So, Madam Speaker, I recommend the people to endorse this bill overwhelmingly the way the Parliament has endorsed it overwhelmingly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Senator Muranga. And please make sure it is 2 minutes like everybody else.
Yes, Madam Speaker, when this process started, there were areas I was very happy with it, and I'm on record of having supported those areas. One of the most important area was World Development Fund, which was my original idea. I brought it before the Senate, it was passed, it went to the National Assembly, it got stuck there. So to the extent that it was speculated into BBI, for me, I was happy, Madam Speaker. I only became a little bit cagey when I saw 3 issues. Number 1, when I saw a report detailing the cost of BBI once it is passed. There's a parliamentary report that denotes that Kenya will suffer 20 billion extra shillings per annum once BBI passes. That includes to support the so-called double-decker parliament. That includes other institutions which are being created. Number 2, I thought maybe this process would amend some of the problematic areas I found in it. Most importantly, the enhancement of presidential powers vis-a-vis judiciary, Madam Speaker. I am a victim of the so-called an overbearing executive. When I was a student leader at the University of Nairobi as the vice chair of SONU, I was suspended because of an executive that was so overbearing. So when you then provide in this bill, in BBI, a situation where the president has the unilateral power to appoint people in Salaries Commission, the president seems now to have a Judicial Service Commission can just dismiss or penalize a judge. I have a problem with that. Again, Madam Speaker, there is a clause that is proposing to delete representation of teachers in Salaries Commission. Madam Speaker, I strongly believe teachers are so important in molding the children of this country. Without them, we could not become lawyers, doctors, professors. When you now kick them out of Salaries Commission, Madam Speaker, you negate the entire teaching fraternity. I'll be urging teachers, secondary school teachers, primary school teachers, to look at that clause, how it is going to affect their bargaining power, their negotiations power, particularly taking into account we have ratified international treaties that support labor. And under Article 2, Sub-Article 6 of the Constitution, those treaties are now part of Kenyan law. Finally, Madam Speaker, I think my region has not gotten sufficient constituencies. I strongly believe Muranga should have gotten the 2 extra constituencies. Nyeri did not get a single constituencies. Nithi, also a place like Madam Speaker, Nyandaro did not get a single constituencies. This idea that Mount Kenya has been getting have so many constituencies.
Senator, your time is up. We were not opening debate. We want people to thank us for being good chairs. Senator Pareno.
Madam Speaker, just rise to say that I'm happy that I have participated in this making history for this country. At least we'll have left a mark that we tried our best at this particular moment. Happy, Madam Speaker, that finally we have passed it, that we will have more women legislators, we'll have better sharing of our resources, and therefore a better shared prosperity for this country because we'll have more resources on the ground. Happy that we have passed a bill that tries to deal with the winner takes it all issue in our elections because we have a new structure that is coming in. And finally, Madam Speaker, that will go into a referendum more united on this one, looking at the kind of participation that we have had and the support that we have had. I believe this country will have a better future and that we will vote yes for our destiny come the referendum. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Very much, Senator Mutula Kilonzo Jr.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I don't know what the Senator Matangi mentioned, but I think we, as whips, we owe to our colleagues who are in Nairobi, those who are out of the country, those who are out of Nairobi, a hand for listening to us. Nobody pushed you, there was no executive pushing you, and all of you participated. We have a record of 65 senators who participated in the vote, 76%. And Majority Leader, I think you should thank the senators, because we have not only surpassed the record set by the National Assembly, we have also had a better debate than them, irrespective of the disagreements on the floor. Two, Madam Speaker, I am now convinced, absolutely, that we should have passed some other things through the parliamentary initiative. We have done more than 2/3, both at the National Assembly and at the Senate. I hope at some point maybe the Senate and the other National Assembly can find a way of using the parliamentary initiative to pass some of the minimum amendments that we can pass without necessarily going to a popular initiative or a referendum. To the principals, this was a good idea to build a good Kenya, and I am proud to participate in this process. I watched the 2010 Constitution process on TV, and I'm proud to have participated in this one. Lastly, to say this, a lot of myths about Parliament and about the hold on Parliament has been demystified between this week, that we can make a decision ourselves, that we at some point think well of this country. Lastly, Majority Leader, if you can get 65 senators voting on this process, as political as it is, bring us here to discuss the attendant laws that are going to come as a result of this constitutional amendment. They're important. Two, we want to make sure that our elections are peaceful. I've repeated this. We must look at our elections and the laws that will govern our elections. Last, people are suffering. Can we discuss economic issues and matters concerning Wanjiko, Mudeu, and Atieno on this floor? Bring people here before we go home and before we go for our respective elections. I believe we can do better, and let's have a conversation around things that Kenyans think are not political driven but people driven. But thank you, Speaker, and for your patience and guidance. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Finally, the leader of majority, Senator Bokisho. Oh, your name is... How did we lose your name? Okay, let's allow Senator Naomi so that you do finally, Senator Bokisho. We want you to be the last.
She has been telling for us.
Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, thank you so much for giving this opportunity, and I'm proud that I've been the tally and returning officer for this particular process in this Senate. I stand to be commended. Madam Speaker, I want just to say that for the senators, I want to congratulate senators of Kenya for this period and for this time that you have taken just to discuss this bill. We have learned a lot as senators, and we have seen so much of the input from the report. And I want just to say, Madam Speaker, that nothing can dim the light which shines from within. This constitution has been discussed here, and it is light within. And nothing will stop us from seeing the light that is within us. And I want to say that for Malava, Kabras, Kakamega County, which is one of the constituencies that is going to be added, one more constituency, I am so happy that we are going to get the real money and the real devolution working from within. And I want just to thank this document, the people who actually started this document, who came up with the handshake that has done the repeal of everything that we have seen that has been discussed. And I want just to congratulate the people who came up again with this particular document, that we have had the digest that is in it, we have had the fruit that is in it, and as we go out there for referendum, I know we are ready, we are prepared as people, we are prepared as individuals, and we are prepared as representatives of people. I'm glad that the women of Kenya are benefiting from this and benefiting within. So
we ought to respect to our leaders who have actually spearheaded this process through this House. Our work has been done. Our work has been accomplished. Now it's the people, upon the people of Kenya to conclude everything and the good work that our leaders or two principals started. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Bokisho. Samuel Losuron.
Madam Speaker, you can rest assured that this is only to congratulate and to thank those who participated, which is almost everybody in this House. Madam Speaker, as has been said by Senator Mutula Kilonzo Jr., a very high participation rate. Only what, 3, 4, only 2 did not participate. So you can imagine, I must thank everyone, all the members, even those who did not support the motion. I know that down in their hearts, they know that it's a very good bill. They definitely have voted with us, even though they voted no. Those who voted yes, you can already say the majority have their way and let the minority also have their say, which is very good principle for this House. But Speaker, you know, as our members here, that for them to stay this late, to stay throughout, even those who are on overseas trips and vote, that means it's so important. We stated very early that this is a historic moment, and I'm glad that everybody wanted to participate. And so we want to be, just to say thank you for that. We now move to the next stage. We will always be thankful because the debate in this House has been praised. I remember, Madam Speaker, even our neighboring president, the president of the neighboring country, when she came here, said something about the debate, so she listens. I think I purpose to think she listens more to Senate. But, Madam Speaker, we are going to ensure that the things that Senator Mutula Kilonzo Jr. said we bring here, the laws that are requiring our numbers like this should come sooner rather than later, and also as part of the fulfilling the requirements of this particular bill. This has been the BBI bill, and we must always remember that the people who started it, the handshake people, and eventually now the people who are going to campaign for it are us and other people. So let's hope to, let's begin by also saying thank you to the President of the Republic of Kenya and the former Prime Minister and all the political leaders who have supported this process, and to the members today. So I just wanted to use this opportunity to say thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you, Senators. That brings us to the end of the BBI report. Next order, BBI Bill. And it seals the fate of BBI Bill in this House. Thank you for your participation, everybody. This has been good. And your last remarks were the best. That has set a tone that we need on the ground when we go to campaign. We need to campaign together in a united manner. Next order.
Order number 16, motion, debate on the address to Parliament by Her Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan, President of the United Republic of Tanzania.
Madam Speaker, kabla sijapendekeza majadiliano haya, ningependa kupendekeza Madam Speaker kwamba ingechapishwa katika lugha ya Kiswahili hoja lenyewe, ndio tungejadiliana sisi sote katika lugha ya Kiswahili. Lakini sasa kwa sababu imechapishwa katika lugha ya Kiingereza, imenibidi mimi nikipendekeza, Madam Speaker, nirudie Kiingereza na nisome katika lugha hiyo ya Kiingereza. Lakini nashukuru kwa sababu nimeomba ya kwamba Mheshimiwa Senator wa Kilifi, ya Kilifi mwenyewe ambaye anasema Kiswahili safi ndiye mwenye ataunga mkono nikisha kupendekeza. And so, Madam Speaker, I beg to move that pursuant to Standing Order 24-6, the thanks of the Senate be recorded.
There is a point of order from Senator Wetangula.
You make your bed, you must lie on it. The majority leader stood when you called the order, and he stepped forward in compliance, started speaking in Kiswahili. And under our standing orders, he must speak in Kiswahili to the end. He cannot make excuses in Kiswahili and then suddenly switch to English, Madam Speaker. That is offensive to our standing orders. And we will only be able to perfect our Swahili speaking in this House by practice. In fact, me, I'm waiting to speak to this motion in Kiswahili.
Senator Pokisho, there is another point of order, but you really brought yourself to this one. Yeah, Senator Pareno, there is a point of order from Senator Pareno. Maybe she's translating it.
Madam Speaker, nilikuwa na hoja kidogo, hoja ya nidhamu. Nilikuwa naomba Madam Speaker kama ingewezekana kwa mkubwa wa walio wengi, I don't know whether you call majority, kiongozi wa walio wengi, Mheshimiwa Pogisho, kama ingewezekana angeendelea ama angeanzisha kwa lugha ya Kiswahili na mswada huu ufanye kwa lugha ya Kiswahili kwa heshima ya mama yetu mtukufu Rais wa Tanzania, Mama Suluhu Hassan. Ingefaa sana kwa sababu ya kupendelea vile alizuru nchi ya Kenya, na kwa heshima ya lugha yao na lugha yetu ya Kiswahili, na kwa heshima kwa heshima ya lugha ya Afrika Mashariki ambayo ni Kiswahili pia, kama angeweza kuongea kwa lugha ya Kiswahili.
Another point of order from Senator Mutula Kilonzo.
Ningemwomba Speaker, ningemwomba kiongozi walio wengi atusikize na kwa makini. Jambo hili si jambo la kupuuzilia, na ningemwomba kiongozi walio wengi, kama ingewezekana Speaker, mjadala huu ungetafsiriwa katika kichapisho chetu kwa order paper na Kiswahili, kwa lugha ya Kiswahili. Alafu mwenzetu kiongozi walio wengi pamoja na yule ambaye atamuunga mkono aendeleshe mswada huu kwa lugha ya Kiswahili, kwa sababu kama vile tulivyomsikiza Rais Suluhu alisema kwamba lugha yetu anaifurahia kwa sababu ina ucheshi. Kwa hivyo ni wakati wetu na ni jukumu letu tuzungumze ama tujadiliane mswada huu, kwa sababu hata nakala ambayo mimi nimepatiwa na ambayo ninayo hapa sasa imeandikwa na lugha ya Kiswahili. Mimi nashangaa ni kwa njia gani huyu kiongozi wetu anaanza mjadala huu na Kizungu, ilhali nakala ambayo yeye anataka tuiunge mkono imeandikwa kwa lugha ya Kiswahili. Je, huu ni ungwana?
Senator Pokisho, hope you have taken note of the points that you started with one language. And all you need to do is to translate that paragraph as it is.
Madam Speaker, you must realize, Madam Speaker, that I have not delved into the motion. I had not moved the motion. I made comments outside of the motion in Kiswahili, knowing very much that it is actually our standing orders which prevent me from moving on in Kiswahili when I'm reading what is on the order paper. That's why I said in Kiswahili, it would have been better if the motion had been drafted in Kiswahili, so that would force me to read it in Kiswahili and proceed with the debate. Other than that, Madam Speaker, I had not yet moved the motion. So those first comments were just comments in another language, but the motion as written, Madam Speaker, the motion as written.
Thank you, I agree.
I have no,
you had not started, so you can move.
And thank you, Madam Speaker. So I can now move the motion. You know, I would have loved to say it in Swahili, Madam Speaker, but I'm prevented from that by the rule that I must read as it is, which is in English, which our people should have done this in Swahili, for sure. So, Madam Speaker, I beg to move that pursuant to Standing Order 24.6, the thanks of the Senate be recorded for the address to Parliament by Her Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan, President of the United Republic of Tanzania, delivered on Wednesday, 5th May 2021. Madam Speaker, at this point now is when I wish I could mix the languages, but again, I can't. So I am, my goose is cooked in this matter. I would have loved to entertain the President of Tanzania with my Kiswahili. And I'm sure there'll be many who will entertain her anyway. As she said, it is entertainment enough hearing our Kiswahili. Madam Speaker, it's important for this country and for this Parliament, particularly the Senate of the Republic, which found a lot of recognition in that speech, to discuss and debate the contents of that speech, the policies in that speech, especially, Madam Speaker, the fact that this is a president who was just sworn in in March, and the first business that she has taken seriously, called state visit, was to this country. And she has said it very clearly, that Kenya is related to Tanzania in three areas that she mentioned. She mentioned in our neighborhood, in our languages, in our communities. We share communities. And she spoke with passion. And the way she spoke to this nation, spoke to us in Kiswahili, was very fine Kiswahili. That's when you know a fine Kiswahili, you know, a very fine language. And she was full of praises for these houses of Parliament. And so I wanted to just use this opportunity to therefore thank Her Excellency for such a motion, such a speech that she gave, which was so endearing. I'm telling you, Madam Speaker, that if you sat in that chamber, you would not fall asleep or be distracted. You paid attention to her because she was very colorful in her language. But the most important thing in that is that there were a lot of policies, a lot of good things that came with that visit and with the speech. The speech that she made was full of very concrete areas of development. But one of them that I noticed is that she particularly wants us in Kenya, inviting us Kenyans to invest in Tanzania, inviting us Kenyans to be free to move into Tanzania, for Tanzanians to move over. Something which had been affected by the leadership that was there before her. And that time, Madam Speaker, she has restored, in my view, the good relationship that existed among our people. Our people still live on both sides, and they move back and forth. She gave the example of our wildlife, which moves back and forth. So there is more to our relations with Tanzania than we think. And we know, but it had been affected by politics, and now she has tried her best to remove that barrier and allow people to move freely. Now, Speaker, if you look at the way that we relate, she mentioned three things that she said in our relations personally, and then also she mentioned something about our geography. And she's in the geography, she's very clear that we share a common border, a very long one, and we share both on land and the seafront. So we have a reason to share together. She mentioned some major projects in her speech. The one that caught my attention, Madam Speaker, is the natural gas pipeline that is being proposed to move from Dar es Salaam into Mombasa. We share these resources because it's easier to move that gas pipeline from Dar es Salaam into Mombasa and back and forth. She's mentioned a number of roads that we are doing together as the two countries. And I'm glad that during her time of state visit, she liked what she saw in Kenya, and she made praises about the development, that the strides in development that Kenyans have made, or the Kenya government has made. Madam Speaker, being a new person on the block, and she described herself that way, she had to come and introduce herself to the neighbors, which in a sense is what you do when you are new, and your neighbors, the presidents there have been there for a while. And so she has done a good thing, which means you seek advice from your neighbors, but you also have something to offer, fresh ideas to offer to your neighbors, and especially for the enforcement and the strengthening of the East African community, which she mentioned also as one of our relations, that we are related historically. And in history, we were the first to form the precursor to the East African community. That is Tanzania and Kenya. Before then, even we were joined into East Africa, which Uganda came in, and then now the East African community. Madam Speaker, there is a lot to gain from good relations. Peace is one of the things that we gain from good relations. The freedoms that we get by being able to access our borders, we are able to defeat small things and like diseases, hunger, and things, because now, if you have a better facility in Tanzania, and you are near there, you can benefit from that facility. If there is food in Tanzania, which is not in Kenya, it's easy for us then to meet our needs. If there is more in Kenya, that movement, which allows our people to have these freedoms. Education is the other way. There are many Tanzanians who would like to come and study in Kenyan schools. There are many Kenyans who would like to do the university education, things like that, and even high school education in some of the schools. The other way that we benefit from each other, and which she definitely made very clear to all of us, was in tourism. And if that issue of tourism, Madam Speaker, is taken seriously, we benefit. She made it very clear to me that we have been hurting each other in tourism by saying, oh, Kenyan trucks cannot go, Kenyan tour vans cannot go into Tanzania, or vice versa. And yet there is enough that the tourists can benefit by just visiting both countries and making it a joint program. This is, Madam Speaker, these are some of the things that I was able, Madam Speaker, to glean from the speech, that wonderful speech. And Madam Speaker, I know that a lot of colleagues want to speak onto this. I just want to say that we, members of Parliament, have been given a challenge by the President of Tanzania that we better legislate in such a way as to strengthen the East African community. We must legislate in such a way as to give our people basic needs, that our people don't have to struggle too much, Madam Speaker, in order to get medicine. We should legislate, Madam Speaker, to free our people into thinking business-wise. We must help our people to think business-wise, to think joint ventures, to think going to farm in Tanzania, which she declared has so much land, and things like that, and also mining. So, Madam Speaker, if I were to dwell on the speech for too long, I would probably deprive others of the opportunities to comment. And I like to use this forum to pass congratulations to the President of the United Republic of Tanzania for the speech she made, which I have mentioned just a little part of it, that she definitely has a bright future, that she is up to the task, and we wish her well. Madam Speaker, I beg to move and ask the Senator of Kilifi to second. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Matsayo.
Asante, shukran Bi Speaker. Bi Speaker, kwanza nataka kutoa shukran kwa Rais wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania Mheshimiwa Samia Suluhu Hassan. Kwanza tukiwa tunamshukuru Rais wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania, tunawazia jambo muhimu ambalo aliweza kulileta. Kitu cha kwanza, watu wa Tanzania tunawapa kongole, sababu katika historia ya Tanzania tokea wapate uhuru mpaka sasa ni rais wa kwanza mwanamke katika hii jamhuri yetu ya muungano wa East African Community ama Mashariki ya Kati. Spika, kile Kiswahili chake kwanza, sisi kama watu wa wengine wanaotoka sehemu za Kenya lakini tunatoka sehemu mbalimbali, tunasema kwamba sisi kama watu wanaotoka sehemu za mkoa wa Pwani wanajua kuzungumza Kiswahili, lakini hilo silo. Spika, ukiona kwamba Rais wa Muungano wa Jamhuri ya Tanzania aliweza kuongea Kiswahili safi ambacho hata mimi nilikisikiliza nikasema hata sisi kama tunatoka maeneo ya Pwani ya Mombasa ama Kilifi ama Malindi hatuongei Kiswahili kama hicho. Kiswahili chao kilikuwa Kiswahili safi kabisa. Spika, tunaelewa ya kwamba mipaka yetu sisi na Tanzania imekuwa pamoja kwa miaka na miaka na itaendelea kuwa hivyo. Hatujui, lakini tunaambiwa katika lugha ya dini kwamba maisha na maisha tutaendelea kuwa majirani. Spika, tunaona kwamba Rais Suluhu aliweza kutuambia ikiwa wanyama wanaweza kuishi kama ndugu, ikiwa wale wanyama Spika wanaweza kuongea lugha moja wakatembea pamoja, akatupatia hata mifano ya kwamba ikifika chini ya mwaka kuna sehemu ya mwezi fulani wanyama wetu huku wanyama wa kiume huridhishwa sana, kwa sababu wale wanyama wa Tanzania wa kike huwa wanavuka mto wakija huku alafu wakapata mimba na kurudi kwenda kuzalia huko kwao. Hatusemi kwamba wao wanakuwa wengi, lakini wengine huwa wanabaki huku, na ndio jinsia ya watu wanaoishi pamoja kuweza kuelewana na kuishi kama ndugu na madada na makaka na kuelewana zaidi. Spika, tumeona katika mipaka hiyo pia sio wanyama peke yake, tukizingatia kwamba katika maeneo tofauti tofauti ya mipaka kuna jamaa ambao wanaishi pamoja. Tukiangalia upande kama wa mkoa wa Pwani, ukiwa unataka kwenda Tanga ama Dar es Salaam, unaweza kupitia maeneo ya Horohoro ama Lungalunga. Hiyo ni mpaka ambao jamaa wa Kidigo ambao ni mmoja wao katika wale Mijikenda wanaishi sehemu za huku Kenya, na vile vile wanaishi pande za Tanga ama Tanzania kupitia sehemu za Tanga na hata mpaka Dar es Salaam. Kwa hiyo tumeona hii ikiwa wanyama wanaoshirikiana, binadamu wanaweza kuketi pamoja, ni kwamba pia biashara zetu zinaweza kuwa pamoja. Tukija katikati, tuko na eneo ambalo liko na Wataita Taveta. Wataita Taveta wako hapa katikati ya Voi, Taita Taveta. Tunaona Wataita Taveta ni wengi pia, nao pia wana ushirikiano katika mpaka huo. Vile vile tuko na maeneo ya Namanga. Ukitoka hapa Nairobi ukiwa unaenda utapita maeneo ya Namanga, ambapo hapo pia kuna watu wanaitwa Wamasai. Na mimi nataka kusifu Spika kwa sababu wewe ni mmoja wao. Ikiwa mnaishi kwa amani na mnaishi pande hii ya huku Kenya ya Namanga na wanaishi pande ile ingine pia Wamasai. Sasa hata hatuwezi kujua, manake majina pia mmefanana, kila kitu kimefanana, hata sijui hata vile mnaishi mmefanana, tabia zao, kila kitu katika mipaka ya Kenya. Na pia ukienda upande wa Namanga kule wa Tanzania, pia wale Masai wa Tanzania wanaishi kama ndugu. Kwa hiyo tunasema tu ya kwamba Speaker, ni jambo la kufurahisha ikiwa rais wa Tanzania anaweza kuja hapa na akatueleza ya kwamba jambo la kwanza, wanyama wanashirikiana, binadamu wanashirikiana, mipaka iko pamoja, sisi tunaishi kama ndugu na hatuwezi kugeuza maisha kuanzia sasa na milele. Kwa hiyo la muhimu katika ushirikiano huo, alisema ya kwamba ingekuwa bora tukiongeza takriban mambo ya biashara kwa upande wa pande zote mbili. Tusilemeane kwamba wengine wanaleta nyingi zaidi ya wengine. Tuone ya kwamba katika ushirikiano wetu tutakuwa na ushirikiano bora. Speaker, zaidi sana tuliona katika ile hotuba yake aliyotupatia, alisifu sana bunge la Senate, akasifu sana pia bunge la kitaifa, akisema kwamba ni jambo bora aliloliona, ya kwamba tunajaribu sasa, tumeanza, ni mwanzo tu, ya kwamba tumeanza kuongea Kiswahili na Kiswahili chetu huwa cha kufurahisha sana. Najua ni kama vile alipokuwa akisema kiongozi walio wengi, ya kwamba amejaribu kuongea lakini katikati akageuza maji, akasema sasa ni kama maji yamezidi unga. Akasema kwamba angependelea kuongea Kizungu, lakini hiyo ni mojawapo ya tafakari zetu ambazo tunasema kiongozi walio wengi amejaribu sana. Mimi ni mara yangu ya kwanza kumsikia akiongea Kiswahili na nimeona Kiswahili chake ni kizuri, lakini ni vile kwamba alikuwa pengine ana hofu ya kwamba anaweza kukosea hapo mbeleni. Lakini na matumaini makubwa ya kwamba kwa vile sasa tuko na ile hotuba yake katika lugha ya Kiswahili, wale wenzetu maseneti watakaopata nafasi ya kuweza kuja kuongea juu ya hii hotuba wataweza kuongea na lugha ya Kiswahili. Speaker, pia pengine ningependa kuongeza zaidi ya kwamba isiwe tu mwisho, na kwamba hizi sheria zetu za hapa ndani ya bunge la Seneti, ikiwa tunaweza kuruhusu mtu aanze Kiswahili ama mtu aanze na Kizungu, lakini aweze pia, akiwa hawezi kutafsiri lile neno kwa hali ya Kizungu ama Kiswahili, awe anaweza kulisema kwa lugha yoyote na iwe itakubalika, ama itakuwa sentesi ambayo itakuwa anaweza kuikata katikati, akisema habari ya asubuhi, akiwa hawezi kujua anaweza kusema pia good morning, ambapo pia itakuwa mojawapo ya ile kujiweza kujikuwa na uzoefu, na kwamba hawezi kukosolewa kwamba amesema makosa, ikizidi kwamba kuna ule uoga ya kwamba nikiongea hivi naweza ongea makosa, kwa hiyo afadhali mimi niongee Kizungu. Lakini tukiwa tutarekebisha hizi taratibu zetu hapa ndani ya bunge, inaweza kuwa vizuri zaidi, kwa sababu itapeana nafasi kwa seneta yoyote ambaye ana uwezo wa kuweza kuongea, na hatimaye akiona kwamba sentesi hawezi kuimaliza kwa lugha ya Kizungu, anaweza kuweka Kiswahili, ama akianza na Kiswahili vile vile kama lile bunge lao la Tanzania. Wale wa bunge la Tanzania wanaruhusiwa, mtu anaweza kuanza Kiswahili akaingiza maneno ya Kizungu, lakini hatimaye ikakubaliwa. Nafikiria tukiweza kurekebisha hizi taratibu zetu itakuwa sawa. Speaker, mwisho kumsifu Rais wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania, aligusa jambo la janga hili la COVID-19. Alisema ya kwamba sisi kama majirani, sisi kama tunaoishi pamoja, sisi kama tunafanya biashara pamoja, ni watu tunashirikiana kwa mambo mengi. Speaker, lakini akasema ya kwamba ikiwa ushirikiano huo utaendelea, hili janga pia ni vizuri ikiwa tutaweza kulipiga vita pamoja. Tumeona kwamba Kenya imeendelea mbele zaidi kupiga vita hili janga la corona, lakini kwa upande wa Tanzania kidogo walikuwa wameenda polepole. Sasa jukumu letu sisi ni kuitia maanani ile hotuba ya rais ya kwamba hata nilifurahi sana nilipoona ya kwamba walikuwa wote waliokuja katika ziara hii, na hata wakati wakiingia ndani ya bunge kutoa zile kusikiza hotuba ya rais, walikuwa wote wamevaa mabarakoa. Hiyo ni dalili ya kuonyesha kwamba hao pia wako na juhudi sasa, wanaanza kuwa na mwelekeo wa kwamba hili janga litaweza kutumaliza sote, kwa sababu watu wanaposikizana, bispika, watu wanaofanya pamoja biashara, watu wanaolala katika hoteli moja, watu wanaokula katika chumba cha malaji pamoja, ikiwa hawatavaa mabarakoa, basi inaweza kuwa hatari, hata ikiwa kwa upande wa Kenya ama ni upande wa Tanzania. Lakini nashukuru Mwenyezi Mungu kwa sababu sisi tulilitilia maanani hapo awali na tukasema ya kwamba ni jambo ambalo tutapigana na corona mpaka tuone ya kwamba tumeishinda, ama vile wanavyosema ule mzunguko tumeonyorosha. Kwa hiyo Bispika, nataka tu nitie mkazo ya kwamba katika ile hotuba ya rais aliyosema hapo awali ilikuwa hotuba ya maana sana. Bispika, kwa kumalizia, nilifurahishwa sana wakati aliposema akiwa huko Tanzania aliweza pia kutambua ya kwamba sisi majina yetu pia huwa yanafanana, si wale wa Masai peke yake, lakini pia akatuambia ya kwamba kwa sababu anatoka sehemu za kisiwani huko Zanzibar, kuna majina kama ya ndugu yetu ambaye tuko naye hapa, Seneta Mwinyi Haji Fakii. Akasema jina hilo pia nalo linaonekana linatoka katika kisiwa cha kule sijui ni Pemba ama ni Zanzibari, huko nako ndio wanakuwa na majina kama hayo. Na mwisho zaidi
pia alitupa jina Namelok ambaye inatoka upande ya Masaini, akatupa pia na Kilonzo, Kioko.
Yes.
Kwa hivyo alitaja majina mengi kutoka upande zote za Afrika Mashariki.
Shukrani Bispika kwa kuniongoza, na nakumbuka alisema kwamba kule pia huwa na majina ya Kikamba, hata Kilonzo nafikiria ama Musyoka, tunaweza pata majina kama hayo. Junior anaweza kujua zaidi, na Bispika na wewe pia unaelewa zaidi. Kwa hiyo hii ni kwamba watu ambao tunaishi kama ndugu, ni hususan kuona ya kwamba tumekuwa tunajisaidia katika wakati kama huu wa hili janga la corona. Lakini kumalizia kabisa ni kwamba Kiswahili chetu ni lazima tukidumishe, na lazima tujivunie nacho, na sio kwamba kama hujui Kiswahili basi wewe si Mkenya, ama hujui Kizungu basi wewe si Mkenya, kwa sababu hizi ndio lugha zetu mbili za kitaifa. Mimi tu nataka nikomee hapo, na kwamba tumsifu sana Bispika kwa hii hoja aliyosema, na mimi nataka kumuunga mkono ama kumsecond, kwa siwezi kujua kama kusecond ni kuunga mkono ama ni kufanya namna gani, pia mimi nimetumia jina la Kizungu. Kwa hiyo asante sana Bispika, na second.
Nafikiri hata kuunga mkono ni sawa. Mheshimiwa Kilonzo Junior. Oh, sorry. I now propose the question that the motion that the debate on that person to Standing Orders 24(6), the thanks of the Senate be recorded for the address to Parliament by Her Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan, President of the United Republic of Tanzania, delivered on Wednesday, 5th May 2021. Senator Kilonzo Mutula Jr.
Asante Bi Speaker. Kwanza nimshukuru Rais wa Tanzania Mheshimiwa Samia Suluhu Hassan kwa hotuba yake ambayo imeleta maridhiano kwa jamii ya Watanzania. Ndugu zetu, tukubalieni tuendelee kupatia risala zetu za rambirambi kwa kumpoteza kiongozi wenyu John Pombe Magufuli. Mungu amrehemu na amlaze mahali pema peponi. Bi Speaker, jambo ambalo Rais wa Tanzania lilifanya au hotuba ambayo aliitoa imekuamua mambo ambayo yamewashinda wanaume. Viongozi wanaume wameshindwa kuleta uwiano katika Afrika Mashariki. Imebidi mwanamke awaonyeshe viongozi wanaume njia. Na jambo hili ni la muhimu. Wale ambao kama sisi ambao tunapigia debe mswada kama ule ambao tumeipitisha leo, ni kwa sababu Bi Speaker, katika maoni yangu, wale viongozi ambao watachaguliwa katika kaunti zetu 47 ambao ni wanawake, ni njia mufti Bi Speaker kutafuta uongozi wa kitaifa kupitia kwa bunge hili. Na jambo la kuwezesha hawa wanawake ili wapate nafasi kama hiyo ni kuchaguliwa katika kaunti zetu. Jambo lingine, kuna watu hawakumbuki historia yetu. Na ni vizuri niseme kwa sababu Mheshimiwa Senator Susila wako, marehemu mzee wangu Baba Mtula Kilonzo walisomea Dar es Salaam wakati ambao kukuwa na shahada ya wanasheria katika university zetu huku Kenya. Na walifunzwa sheria na wengine wengi ambao wengine ni majaji, wengine kama mwenyekiti wa timu ya Gor Mahia Ambrose Rachier, watu ambao wamesomea sheria Tanzania. Lakini mambo ambayo yamezungumziwa hapa, nafasi ambazo sisi wa Kenya za kibiashara, nafasi za Watanzania za kibiashara, ni jambo ambalo ni la muhimu, kwa sababu wale ambao ni wafanyabiashara na wengine ambao ni wateja wetu katika kazi zetu mbalimbali wametuambia kwamba wamepata shida. Mahindi ambayo yanatoka Tanzania na yanapitia kwako Bi Speaker, yanapitia Namanga, yale mengine yanapitia Emali, yale mengine yanapitia upande wa Kibwezi, yanakuja kwa bei nafuu Kenya. Lakini mahindi ambayo tunayapanda Kenya hayawezi kuuzwa Tanzania. Maziwa ambayo yanaweza kuuzwa Tanzania kwa muda mrefu, ilikuwa vigumu sana kuuza maziwa Tanzania. Nakumbuka nikiwa katika nchi ya Zambia, yule ambaye ni msimamizi wetu huko kama balozi aliniambia kwamba njia mufti ya sisi tuingie katika jumuiya ya South SADC ambayo Tanzania ni mwanachama ni kupitia Tanzania. Na kwa hivyo sisi tunataka kumshukuru kwa dhati Rais wa Tanzania kwa mambo ambayo matamshi na kufungulia njia biashara ya Wakenya na biashara ya Watanzania, ili Wakenya na Watanzania tutafute njia na tutafute pia Waganda. Sisi tunataka Mheshimiwa Rais Uhuru Kenyatta, Mheshimiwa Rais Suluhu Hassan na Rais wa Uganda Bwana Museveni wakutane na Kagame, wakutane ili tutafute njia ambayo tunaweza kufanya jumuiya hii idumishwe. Tunaweza kuwa na kampuni moja ya ndege kama vile tulikuwa na kampuni moja ya ndege. Tunaweza kuwa na kampuni ya reli, tunaweza kuwa na makampuni ya vitu vingi, hata mawasiliano, kama ilivyokuwa kabla jumuiya hii kuvunjiliwa mbali mwaka wa 77. Ni kwa nini, Mr. Speaker? Na ndio kwa sababu tunasema uongozi umelegea. Tungekuwa na mtu kama Suluhu kabla hatujafanya mkataba tuliofanya na Wachina wa reli ambayo inapitia kwako, tufanye mpango huu na Watanzania, ingekuwa virahisi. Deni hili ambalo sisi tuko nayo na hawa Wachina, Mheshimiwa Speaker, haingekuwepo. Hivi majuzi nimeenda safari nchi ya Dubai. Nimesikia kuhusu bandari yao ya Tanzania ambayo wameifungulia ili wafanye biashara kwa njia rahisi kuliko bandari ya Mombasa. Mimi ninauliza swali hili, na hao wenzetu maseneta kutoka Pwani watajibu haya maswali. Kuna zile zinaitwa dock pale bandari yetu, 2 zimepatiwa mfanyi biashara anajulikana, amekomboa 2, na tumeshindwa kutafuta mtu ambaye tunaweza ungana mkono pamoja ili aweze kufanya kitu kinaitwa kwa kimombo public private partnership, ili kuwezesha huduma zetu za bandari ya Mombasa ziwe za hali ya juu. Wafanye biashara mbalimbali, Mr. Speaker, wanahamia Rwanda au Tanzania. Na ni kwa nini ukisafiri Tanzania, na lazima nidokeze kwa sababu mimi kwa sababu ya kupenda wanyama nimesafiri sana Tanzania. Nimeenda Manyara, nimeenda Ngorongoro, nimeenda Kirawira na familia yangu, nimeenda buga la wanyama la Serengeti. Buga hili la wanyama na sehemu hizo ambazo wamezitengea katika kuhudumisha sura yao ya tourism, Mr. Speaker, utashangazwa. Hoteli ambazo ziko Kirawira, hoteli ambazo ziko Serengeti, hoteli ambazo ziko Ngorongoro, hoteli ambazo ziko Manyara ni ghali mara 3 kuliko zetu za Mombasa na humu Nairobi. Lakini ukitembea huko kumejaa watalii. Ni kwa nini? Yule ambaye alisema kwamba utayapata watalii wale wanakuja na magari katika uwanja wetu wa gari za Tanzania utazipata hapa, lakini hakuna gari ya Mkenya utaipata upande ule mwingine. Kwa hivyo mimi nimeona kama ni mtu ambaye kwa sasa niseme ni kama malaika ametumwa ili tufanye hii kazi. Hiyo barabara alizungumzia nimeitumia ya kutoka Voi kwenda Mwatate. Hiyo barabara, Mr. Speaker, ilikuwa mbovu sana, na kuna sehemu za watalii za kifahari. Wale ambao mjatembea katika sehemu ama hoteli ambayo almaarufu inaitwa Salt Lake, ama hujatembea katika mahali pa kifahari ambapo wanatengeneza tent huko Mwatate, ukienda Tanzania, ni mahali ambapo mnaweza kutembelea, kwa sababu wamesema tutatengeneza hizi barabara ili kuwa na mawasiliano, kuwa na watu wanaweza kutembea. Na mkitembea nchi ya Tanzania, ukitoka Arusha uende Manyara ni karibu kilomita 500 au 600. Hakuna barabara moja kama hiyo utaiona nchi nzima ya Kenya. Hakuna. Nilistaajabika wakati Rais Magufuli alipata uongozi, badala ya kuwa na sherehe kubwa, nilikuwa huko, badala ya kuwa na sherehe kubwa ambayo itaikarimu serikali ya Tanzania na Watanzania pesa nyingi za karamu na watu kuenda kupiga dance wakatengeza barabara ambao katikati kunapitia wale ambao ni wazima moto, wale ambao wanawasafirisha wagonjwa hospitali. Gari zinapita katikati. Hata wakati Kenya tunajenga barabara za ghorofa eneo la Mombasa Road kutoka Mlolongo, hakuna mtu ambaye anafikiria ni kwa nini hatuwezi kuwa na barabara ambayo inaweza kuwafikisha wagonjwa au wazima moto haraka. Tuna ripoti ambayo inasema wakati wa wale ambao walikuwa wanafunga barabara Thika hivi majuzi, ripoti zipo kwamba kuna mtoto ambaye alikufa barabarani kwa sababu wamefunga barabara na hakuna mahali kunaweza kupitia watu ambao ama ambulance ambazo zilikuwa zinapeleka huyu mtoto hospitali. Zamani walikuwa nasema Watanzania walikuwa naambiwa waje Kenya ili waone dunia. Sasa ni wakati wetu tutoke Kenya twende Tanzania ili tuangalie nchi ambayo inaendelea na kudumisha na kufanya uchumi wao kwa njia ambayo inafaa. Ndio kwa sababu jambo ambalo na mambo ambayo yamesema katika ripoti hii kama kuna Kilonzo Tanzania, kuna Masai Tanzania, kuna Kioko, ni kusema hivi kwamba jamii za Tanzania na jamii za Wakenya ni familia moja. Babake gavana wa Makueni Profesa Kibwana, wakati aliaga dunia mwaka wa 2014, tulimzika mahali panaitwa karibu Rivachala. Kuna mahali kuna mtu unaitwa Rivachala upande wa Tanzania. Tulipikiwa na Wanyamwezi huko, mapochopocho ya maajabu, na wametangamana. Wakati nimeenda kumzika mama yake aliyekuwa seneta wa Taita kule Kasgao, Dan Mwazi, tumepikiwa na Watanzania, tumekaa na Watanzania, na wale waliniambia kwamba katika eneo hilo la Kasgao wanapata huduma ya hospitali kwa njia nafuu upande wa Tanzania. Tuna mambo mengi ambayo tunafaa sisi kuyaiga kama Wakenya. La mwisho ni hili. Wakati nimetembea Tanzania na wakati seneta wako atapatiwa nafasi ya zungumze, labda atatuelezea jambo hili lilitoka wapi. Yule dereva ambaye alikuwa ananizungusha pamoja na familia yangu, nimuuliza jina lake. Tuna tabia ya kuuliza watu majina yao. Nikimuuliza Amos jina lake, sitosheki akiniambia jina lake ni Amos. Nataka aniambie jina lake lile lingine ili nijue ni ametoka pande gani, ukabila gani. Ukabila wetu na maneno ambayo tunayafanya, tabia mbaya kidogo tunayafanya hiyo ili tujue kama tunaweza anza kunongoneza kwa lugha ya mama. Kuna kamati, na nitadokeza, kuna kamati kubwa ambayo kuna wachama 4 ambao wametoka kabila moja, na wakati mkutano unaendelea wanazungumza lugha ya mama. Ni kwa nini? Huyu dereva nikamuuliza, wewe waitwa nani? Akanipa jina la kwanza. Nikamuuliza na jina lako la pili? Akasema hatusemangi jina la pili. Nikamuuliza kwa nini? Kwa sababu hatuna ukabila kama Wakenya. Na nikaendelea kuchunguza makabila ya Tanzania ni karibu 100 na kitu. Kwa hivyo hata kama tunafanya mswada ambao tumemaliza leo, nchi ambayo tunataka kuitengeza ya jamii zetu na familia zetu ni ile nchi ambaye ukisema mimi naitwa Gertrude kama huyu hapa, mtu atakuuliza umetoka wapi, kwa sababu wewe ni Mkenya. Ukisema mimi naitwa Amos, yatosha. Ukisema wewe ni Stuart, yatosha. itafaa na male ambapo kuna stakabadhi za sheria ama za serikali ambazo ukijaza utashangazwa. Na wewe ni wakili kama mimi. Ukienda kotini kwa zile stakabadhi ambazo za charge sheet, unaona kuna mahali wameandika kabila, tribe. Itafika mahali tuseme kwamba jambo hili alileti utengamano na uwiano katika jamii zetu, na ni makosa na ikuwe ni hatia kuzungumza lugha ya mama kwa mkutano, kuzungumza lugha ya mama hadharani. Wewe ukitaka kuzungumza lugha ya mama unajifungia kwako nyumbani ukiwa peke yako, kwa sababu unaweza kuwa umemuoa mtu ambaye si wa kabila lako. Hiyo ni hatia. Hii ndio jambo ambalo sisi tunafaa kuiga wa Tanzania. Sisi tungepatiwa nafasi, tungehamia huko, tukae huko, tutafute familia huko. Lakini kwa sababu tumezaliwa huko, tutakaa huko, lakini mifano na vitu ambavyo Tanzania wanafanya lazima tuige. Mimi nimshukuru Rais Suluhu, aendelee kutazama mijadala yetu bunge la Seneti. Mimi najua kwa hakika kwamba alikuwa anatazama mjadala katika bunge la Seneti, na tutaendelea hivyo hivyo, na tuwaomba kwamba hivi karibuni tuwaone hawa marais wa mataifa Burundi, Rwanda, Tanzania wakikaa pamoja. Hakuna haja sisi tutoke hapa. Mheshimiwa Spika, kamati karibu watu 20 wanaenda kuangalia ni kwa nini Kigali ati wamepanda nyasi barabarani, wamepanda miti, hakuna uchafu. Speaker, tukae chini, tukae kama watu ambao wanazungumza lugha moja. Wale wa Rwanda wanazungumza Kiswahili, wale wa Uganda wanazungumza Kiswahili. Tuhakikishe kwamba tunaweza zungumza Kiswahili tukiwa Rwanda, Tanzania, Uganda, na tutafute nafasi kama bunge pia tuwe tunaweza kufanya majadiliano katika nchi hizi zetu ambazo hawa watu wote ni ndugu na dada zetu. Asante Bi Speaker kwa nafasi hii.
Senata Mtula hapo leo amejaribu Kiswahili kabisa. Na mnakumbuka kwamba Mheshimiwa Suluhu Hassan alisema kwamba anapenda kutazama kwa sababu ya vile tunaongea Kiswahili. Kwa hivyo naomba kama ikiwezekana tujaribu kwa raha zake na kwa heshima zake tujaribu kuongea kwa Kiswahili. Karibu Mheshimiwa wako Cecilia Amos.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to speak on a subject which is very close to my heart. I want to congratulate the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Samia Suluhu, for her historic visit to Kenya, a visit which I think has changed the enabling environment under which the relationship between Kenya and Tanzania can only be bettered and developed further and deeply. Madam Speaker, when I say that, and when we talk about the relationship between Kenya and Tanzania, we have to have in mind all the time that if there are any discords between Kenya and Tanzania, that discord, the seeds of that discord were contributed quite a bit by the colonial government. I say this because the colonial government came with an idea of bringing Kenya, Uganda, and Tanganyika together under some association called the East African High Commission. And that East African High Commission, the chairman of that High Commission was the governor of Kenya. The headquarters of that High Commission was Nairobi. Any services that were common were all headquartered in Nairobi, or in Kenya rather. So we had the East African Railways, Nairobi, East African Harbors and Corporation, Mombasa, and so on. So Nairobi was like the center for East Africa, and other countries viewed Nairobi as the place to provide the leadership. And that's why maybe we got spoiled a bit. Come independence, I must say Madam Julius Kabara de Nyerere, a very forward-looking statesman, said he can delay the independence of Tanganyika if only we can get our independence at the same time and have the East African Federation. That was not to be, and instead the East African High Commission then became the East African Common Services Organization, the structures remaining the same, only changes in personnel. For example, we had East African Airways, headquarters in Nairobi. The chairman of East African Airways was Chief Fundukira from Tanzania. That proceeded, and then when all the countries became independent, it was felt that we should now have a formal relationship, and that's how the East African Community was born. An attempt was made. The feelings of Uganda and Tanganyika was that Kenya had received everything under the relationship. So an attempt was made to decentralize. The headquarters was moved from Kenya to Arusha. And of course, where we now have the court, that was the headquarters of the East African High Commission. East African Posts and Telecommunications, the headquarters was moved to Uganda. It's important for people to realize that as a deliberate measure to ensure that at least other countries shared a little bit more equally with Kenya in the assets of the East African community. Madam Speaker, they have then developed what we call differences in ideology. In Kenya, in Tanzania, it had become Tanzania then, we had the Arusha Declaration. And I must say, Madam Chairman, at that time, as Mutula Kilonzo said, I and his father were students in Dar es Salaam. At that time, we demonstrated in support of the Arusha Declaration. We demonstrated in support of the nationalization of the key heights of the economy like banks, insurance, housing, and so on. But in Kenya, that type of socialism was not to the liking of Kenyans. In Kenya, instead, we had the African Socialism Paper number 10, which was crafted by the late Tom Mboya and the third president of the Republic, Mwai Kibaki, which more or less, although it was called African socialism, at the end of the day it was capitalism, market economy, and so on, which was very different. There was no question of nationalizing banks, nationalizing insurances, and so on. There was a question of, in fact, encouraging farmers, be they large-scale farmers, be they small-scale farmers. In Tanzania, the emphasis was everybody must be herded into village, what we call the villagization policy, and so on. So different types of ideology came in. And then we all know, then in Uganda, Idi Amin came. He could not sit with the Idi Amin at the summit, and That together with what we have just said, differences, led up to the breakdown of the community which was then began being revived in the year 2000. But that spirit that Kenya had been favored was very much there, particularly in Tanzania. Now in Tanzania, up came Magufuli, and if you looked at the balances, the balance in trade, it was very much weighted in favor of Kenya, Uganda. When we were there students, Madam Speaker, things like toothpaste, Omo for washing, all these things were being manufactured here and sold in Tanzania. Now Tanzania felt it must also industrialize, Madam Speaker, and therefore the trade began improving, but they could not really compete with the Kenyans. In fact, Madam Speaker, when I was the chairman of the Fast Tracking Federation, when they went to Tanzania, most of the leaders there said that we don't want to move too fast, particularly to open up Tanzania, because in Kenya, you are capitalists, you are very aggressive, and you will take over Tanzania. So wait for us also to develop those habits before we can properly federate. Up comes Magufuli, and one thing that Magufuli succeeded in is transforming Tanzania from a least developed country to a lower middle income country. Within the space of 5 years, he had done that. And that was really an achievement. And Madam Speaker, to the extent where, for example, although the exports to Tanzania, Tanzania's exports to Kenya began almost leveling up with Kenya's exports to Tanganyika, to Tanzania. At the end of 2019, Kenya's export to Tanzania was $330 million, and Tanzania's exports to Kenya was $269. It began leveling up, Madam Speaker. But Magufuli went even further to ban the Kenya dairy, to ban Kenya Airlines, and we all know the differences that came about. And therefore the relationship, although we're in East African community, we do not appear to be partners. We appear to be competitors. We do not appear to be strategic partners in economic and social development. We appear to be competitors. And that's why, Madam Speaker, I really laud the first president in East Africa, Samia. And with a light touch, you know, one of the Luya sub-ethnic groups, they're called Samias. So with a light touch, just know where the Luyas come from. And Madam Speaker, Samia Suluhu, when she came here, as I said, she has here now provided the enabling environment under which we can now develop far much better. But Madam Speaker, we can only realize this new relationship. We can only realize the benefits under it if both the Kenyans and the Tanzanians, in all fields, be they business, be they professional, regarded each other with respect. Sometimes when Kenyans talk, it's as if, oh, we are now going there. We are now, you know, whatever. They should realize also that Tanzanians are also coming. And in Tanzania, when they come, they also, in fact, when it comes to natural resources, Tanzania is more endowed in terms of natural resources than even Kenya, Madam Speaker. So this relationship, which Madam Suluhu has now enabled, can actually be achieved, is a relationship which will be based on mutual respect and so on. Madam Speaker, I feel that what Madam Suluhu has done is going to enrich, to further enhance the cooperation within the East African community. Because, as you know, the member states have already signed the customs union, they have already signed the common market. The East African Monetary Union is currently being negotiated. Maybe in the year 2024, we should be having the monetary union. But all these things will be meaningless if the actual relationship on the ground are not amicable. And Madam Suluhu's speech has made that relationship to be amicable, to be able to benefit from those relationships, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, East African community, I think, is going to go further. Madam Suluhu made a very important point about language. I myself, Madam Speaker, after retiring as the Attorney General, and when I was thinking that I may join politics and I could not speak Swahili, I went to Zanzibar for the Institute of Kiswahili there, where I was taught some rudiments of Kiswahili, which makes me go along. If you have to become East African, go there again really to refine it so that I can speak proper, I can speak clearly Kiswahili.
In Zanzibar, there is the Swahili Commission.
Eh?
In Zanzibar, we have the Swahili Commission.
Yeah, thank you. At that time, yeah. In fact, we have now. And with that commission, I will really, when we have a debate and I'm still a member of the Senate, at that time, I will be able to address you, Madam Speaker, and you are there sitting, I will be able to address you in Kiswahili. It's just that when I left Zanzibar, I told my friend, the deputy leader of minority, who comes from the coast, to make sure that I'm taught all the time. But he has not made any effort to do that. So I'm appealing to him, please ensure that my Kiswahili also improves by having a teacher who can teach me all the time, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the other point I really wanted to mention is the issue of tribalism, ethnicity, which Mutula Kilonzo has mentioned. And I believe, I am a firm believer in the integration, political, economic, social of Eastern Africa. And I believe if we have that, if we achieve that political federation for this East Africa and so on, a number of the problems that are bedeviling the member countries, I think will be dealt with in a very nice way. And we shall be learning from each other. The other countries may learn from us how to be entrepreneurs, how to make money, and so on. But we shall also learn from them, Madam Speaker, how to be naturalists, how to think African, not how to think Luya, or Kamba, or Digo, and so on. We shall be learning from them. We shall be going to Rwanda, as Kilonzo said, and we shall be learning to them how we can keep our cities clean, the way they have done, and so on. So, with this thing that Suluhu has now begun as president, and there's a whole 4 years to go in that presidency, I really appeal to her to be, as the mother of East Africa, to be the one who will slow down people who are angry with each other, be the mother who will mediate between the various quarrels, most of them petty, between countries and so on, so that we can focus on what she rightly said, focus on what can bring economic and social development for our people. Because at the end of the day, all these structures that we are creating, whether in Kenya, devolution, national government, whether in East Africa, the aim is one. The aim is to ensure that our people's standard of living goes high, progresses, develops, and that we can talk with our chest high in the world today. Madam Speaker, thank you very much for giving me that opportunity to be able to speak on this very, very important visit, which I say it was a historic visit. It has changed, I think, the atmosphere in Kenya and by extension in East Africa, and we should not let that environment again be poisoned by people who may not want to, who may not want us to come together for the benefit of our people in this region. With those few remarks, I support.
Naona Mheshimiwa Wetangula Moses hayuko na Mheshimiwa Cherargei Samson pia hayuko. Yes, Mheshimiwa Stewart Madzayo.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa heshima na taadhima na kulinganishana na kanuni za kudumu za Bunge la Seneti, ningeomba kupitia kwa kipengele cha 105 sheria ya kwanza, ningeomba mjadala huu uahirishwe na nimuulize mkuu wa sheria aliyestaafu, kwa heshima Mheshimiwa Amos Wisila wako, natumaini ananisikiliza. Amos Wisila wako aniunge mkono katika hoja hii ya kuahirisha kikao cha leo.
Mheshimiwa wako, Amos wako.
I second. I think it's self-explanatory. Yeah. Namuunga mkono and the support.
Naona kwamba maombi hayo ya kuahirisha kwa mjadala huu ni muhimu, kwa sababu naona maseneta wengi wangeweza kuchangia mjadala huu ambao ni mjadala wa hotuba wa mama yetu Rais mtukufu Rais wa Muungano wa Tanzania Samia Suluhu Hassan, na kwa hivyo mjadala huu utayarishwa mpaka wakati mwingine ambao itawekwa kwa order paper. Na kwa hivyo naweka swali kwamba nawauliza kama mtakubali kwamba tuahirishe mjadala huu. As many as what opinions say aye. Aye. As many of the contrary opinions say nay. The ayes have it. Next orders. Honorable Senators, having concluded the business of the day, it is now time to adjourn the House. The Senate therefore stands adjourned until Tuesday, 18th May 2021 at 10 a.m.